Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. I am super excited. So in today's video, we are working on a wine glass tumbler. Let's say, y'all, I did this about maybe back in 2019, 2020, but I was working on a book, Find Your Therapy, and I thought about just making some glasses, and the name of it is Find Your Therapy. So I took an image from me on the inside and the words and just added it to the inside and clear coated it with the epoxy on the outside and some nice glitter. Orange is my favorite color, so I have to add the orange, but I like that there's a smooth finish to this instead of a rough finish, as glitter can always sometimes get a little messy, let me say it that way. So in order to produce this look, let's say we will definitely need our wine glass, and with the wine glass, we will need to use, whatever design that you're going to put on your tumbler. Let's say that, and keep in mind, it is glass. In order for it to, for us to read it and see it, it needs to be cut out in mirror image. That is very important. So we will definitely need our wine glass. We will definitely need our design cut out in mirror image. We will need some electrical tape for this because it's going to help us get that straight edge with the glitter and with the epoxy. And we will need some Mod Podge, and I got it right this time because I normally say Mod Podge. Let's say that, but we will need some Mod Podge for this and a brush. So those are basically all the things that you will need to produce the look. This may have to be done in a part 1 and a part 2 because this is going to have to go on the turner for a few hours with the epoxy, right? So let's get started. So first, with our logo, we're going to make sure, I think this is a 3.5 by maybe 2.5, but it's really your preference, and you can make them big, you can make them small, and I'm trying to figure out what in the world is in my finger, okay? We can make them big or we can make them small. So looking at it, trying to get a view of it this way, we can turn it this way just to see how it's going to look. So there we are, this way. There we are looking at it from this point of view. Again, I'm trying to look at 2 different cameras at the same time. Not easy to do, so y'all, I ask that you bear with me. So again, okay, so now we can see that it will work. It's going to work. We don't put the electrical tape on until we have our design because it kind of helps us measure off where we're going to seal, kind of like this backside here. We won't know that until we actually put the design on. So be careful with that. I will put that on after we put the design on. So now we're going to get some transfer tape, and we are going to take that and try to line it up. Y'all, hear what I'm saying? This is your creation. It is the way that you see it. There is no right or wrong way, in my opinion. Let me say that. And y'all know what? I always say use what you have. So I'm going to use this tape right now because I do not have my little squeegee thing with me. So I'm going to use that to get all of my letters up and make sure that they come up really clear. One of the steps that I did leave out, which is very important, which I've already done, is to make sure that your wine glass is completely clean. I do have a little bit of tissue here. Look, y'all, I always come. Alcohol, and I use so much alcohol, and it's just unreal. But that's one of the things that you're going to make sure that you do, and that's clean your wine glass to make sure that, there's no fingerprints or spots or things like that on it. You want it to be very clear. I normally use the 91 proof alcohol because it dries a little bit quicker, but just keep in mind, alcohol is alcohol, whatever works best for you. And look, there's my paper towel. Okay, I always keep that handy, especially when I'm using the Mod Podge. Okay, so now that our glass is clean, and I am using this tape as as my little helper today to get this design off so that we can get it on. And y'all know what? Sometimes I reuse my tape over and over, and I don't know if everybody's like me, but I got issues. Sometimes, reusing it, sometimes it's good. For smaller projects, it may not be as good. For thinner words, let me say that. So sometimes we just have to help it out a little bit, and that's okay. That is quite all right. So right now, I'm just giving it some love because right now it is not feeling what I'm just saying right here, and I probably should have tested that. So normally when it gets like that, you see how I just took it off and just I turned it over, and I'm going to peel it, at an angle, and I'm going to help it out just a little bit. I turned it over, peeling at an angle. My one at the bottom is the one that I'm a little bit concerned about because it is a little bit thinner than her actual name here. So again, as you can see, I'll move this over just a little bit. I am just taking this and I'm just helping it out a little bit because again, I'm a firm believer of using this tape until it just don't do this anymore, right? It's gonna work. So there we are. We're taking the letters off. And yes, this could have already been off, but again, I like to use my tape over and over and over. So the important thing is to make sure that every word is laid down, every dot, every I, everything that you have and that you need to make sure that it's off. Now, one of the things I see that's very, very small is that dot in liquid. So it says Camilla's liquid therapy. I need to make sure that that does not come up when I put my epoxy down. So I have to be careful, make sure it's laid down the right way. Okay, so we're almost done. And again, we would have been done already had I used another transfer tape. But again, I like to use mine over and over. But again, that's my preference. And voila, we have nothing on the paper. And we have everything that we need on our transfer tape here. So now, again, we do it in mirror image because we are working with the glass, right? And there is no right nor wrong way to do this. Let's say that. So as of now, I'm just going to take this and I'm looking at it from the way that I'm seeing it, which is this way here. And I just want it to be, it doesn't matter how you place it, however you see it. I don't like to have them this far down in the fold because as I go down, sometimes it's hard to get that fold, to get your letters to be smooth down. So be very, very careful. If you like to play around with it, that is your preference. You do what you do and do what you enjoy, do what you like. So I'm going to say as if I'm reading it from this way. Yes, I like that. So now that I have it the way that I like it, which is this way here, I'm going to try to get this down first name first, or however, whatever works. I just need all of these letters to come off in that order on this glass. And y'all know what? Sometimes it is hard trying to get something straight on something curved. Keep that in mind. And it's working with this transfer tape and these letters. Once it touch an area, that's a wrap. We just done, right? So just keep that in mind. So right now we're just trying to get these letters down, making sure that, they're not too bad off, out of order, misled, misguided, all of that good stuff. I need it to be straight and together. And keep in mind, we're going to cover up as much as we possibly can in case there is a mistake or it is an issue that's not, something that we can't fix. Let me say that. I always try to say everything, mostly everything is fixable. Mostly, let's say that. So we're still on the therapy part. I am rubbing it down, getting it on there the best as I can with that because it is kind of thin and I need to watch that. Okay, so her name transferred really well. And I'm going to see, as you can see here, we're getting those letters off here. We're taking them off and we're getting them off. And there we are. It's coming. Nothing's actually coming up, so that's good. Now I'm going to turn it this way. Do I like how that sits? I do. That is how it's looking now. Keep in mind we did it in reverse order so that we can see it the right way. That's the whole point in doing it in mirror image. So I'm super excited. I really like how it came out the color. We're using the pink that she liked, which I like. She liked it. I love it. Let me say that. So now that we have this down, I'm going to straighten that little line. There we are. Okay, y'all, I have issues when I see things like that. It's like, I gotta get it. Have anybody else like that when you see something like, I see that, I gotta fix it, but to others it may not bother them, but to me it just does. Okay, so now that we have this down and everything is the way that we want it, we want to make sure that all of your letters are down, you have a good feel, nothing's sticking up, nothing's popping up, not any of that. And keep in mind that if your letters are not flat, let me say this now, because we are putting glitter under this, it could very well slide under the letter, which will not be the look that you're looking for. I have had that happen once before. That's how I am aware of it. So I see in this B right here that I need to make sure that it is down completely. Otherwise, it is not going to give me the desired look that I'm looking for. So there we are. All of my letters are down. There we are here. All of my letters are down. Everything is looking the way that I'm really loving it. Now, I love, love, love this look, this pink. Let me say that. So now, one of the things that I was torn between in the pinks is I have this other glitter. Y'all, I just love glitter. Glitter is just beautiful. Now, well, if I was spraying, you could use a clear gloss, but I wouldn't do that when I'm using the epoxy. So many people can seal it with so many other ways, but really, your Mod Podge is a sealer, so you don't have to worry about it coming back up. Once we give it that clear, you know, that stroke to keep it on, it's not going to move. I do believe it's going to stay in our place, right? So this glitter here, I can't even remember where I ordered it from, but because it has like a green, once you put it on, it's like a pink. It's like I think it's called iridescent. It's different. It's beautiful. I've made a lot with these. However, what really stands out is because it's going to turn, it's going to have like that green opal type, pink type, you know, feel to it. And I didn't want that green color in it. I'm going to see, you know, you can see the shimmer of the pink just a little bit, but because I see some green to it, like a mint green, gray, yeah, I see too much of that, and I don't want that in the cup. So guess what? I'm going to stick with my white, and that is the snow. Let's say that. So we know we're getting our snow together, our white together. So one other thing that we have to do now is position our design. How do we want this design in the back? How do we want it skinny at the, you know, do we want it small to fit to where it's right there at the edge? Or, you know, we have to wrap it and make sure that we have it wrapped the correct way. So what I like to do is go ahead and tell me a little, you know, get me a little starting point, right? So I'm going to turn it my way so that I can see how I want it to be. So this is going to be my top. As you can see, I leave a little piece off because guess what? I'm going to have to peel this off at some point. So I need to leave a little piece off so that I can peel that. And I want it at somewhat of an angle, right? Somewhat of an angle. So let's see if that's going to give me the look that I'm looking for. So I'm going to cut this off for now. So as of now, that's where we are. I just have a little piece of the electrical tape there, and it's kind of close to where the L is, just a little bit, not too far. So that's a good thing, right? So now I'm going to take my other piece. Keep in mind, you always need a starting point because you're going to have to peel this off, and keep in mind, you are also going to need this because it's going to have epoxy on it. So I have another starting point, which is here, my starting point there. So I'm going to go down and see if I can get as close to that. Okay, I'm gonna move it just a little bit because that Y is very close to the edge and I don't want it to be that close to the edge. So I'm gonna try to see if I can line it up, you know, from here to here, almost the same. And if you like me, y'all, we try to keep it as close as we possibly can. Let me say that, as close as we can. And this right here is just a way that, you know, sometimes you have to keep going over it over and over. But if you got a great eye, I do not, hence the glasses, let's say that. There we are. So we're back at that place again. There we are. Okay, so I kind of like this look. Let me say that. I'm not overpowering the glass with glitter. One of the things I have to be mindful of is, you know, that means that we're only going to have this amount here with glitter. Do I want more of the open space? That's something for you to think about, something for you to be mindful of. However you see it, however you want to design your look, however you want to, you know, that's totally up to you. Now, let's say for instance, I want to add a little bit more space in the back for epoxy and for glitter, right? So that's easy to do. All I have to do is take this off and move my tape just a little bit more. So let's give it a little bit more space. Now, if I move it on that side, chances are I'm probably going to have to go and move it on the other side also. So there we are. We added a little bit more space here. I like that. So I'm going to take this tape off. And I'm going to go back to this tape. And sometimes, y'all, it just takes moving it, you know, moving it however you see it. And the good thing about this electrical tape, y'all, we can take it off, put it back, take it off, put it back, and then if not, get another piece, start over. All right, just keep in mind, we always need a starting point. And we're going to need some extra room. There we are. Okay. So, as you can see, I want that V to be in the center, though, because that's going to be like where, let's see, this one, I just went back and added some of that tape to it. I never even put it back on the turner. But as you can see, there's a V there, and I didn't go back again to put it back on the turner, but I want all of that to kind of like be in my center point, so I have to be careful with that. So, There we are. Again, I want my V's to be in the center. There we are. I think we got it. See how the V goes down this way and down this way. So that is really, really, really important in my opinion. Let me say that. That's going to make a difference. Now, for me, let me say that. Let me rephrase that. So keep in mind, again, you see I folded my edges in. We're going to need those. Now, for the bottom, let's say I just like that little V point there. Now, for the bottom, I'm going to wrap this side because we're going to put epoxy on this. We don't want epoxy to drip down the bottom of the cup. So we're going to have to take a little piece of this electrical tape and we're going to have to wrap it around the bottom portion of this, So I would wrap it like so. And these are not my good scissors, y'all. These are the ones I just leave sitting around, just laying around. You know, you always have a good pair of scissors and some that you just say, okay. So now, what's important from this point is just having this straight edge here, because that's going to kind of like be our cutoff place, which is going to be kind of like here. And again, I move it down just a little bit so it's like a little smooth finish and not a rough feel of that epoxy. I just like that smooth feeling. And I do believe that's on this one also. Yes, I love, love, love how smooth this feeling is here. So, okay, now it's time to put our glitter on our glass. I love this. So we've already wrapped it. We've got the glass wrapped. Now, this is how we should look thus far. We have our words here. We have our sectioned off area. We know that this is where we're going to put glitter. This is where our open see-through window portion of it is. This is going to be the bottom of it. We've wrapped it also. So now, at this point, it's whatever glitter that you want to use as a see-through glitter. Being that I used a pink, I used a funny color pink at first, and I was like, no, that's not going to work, so I went with the darker pink. But because I used more of a fuchsia, like a dark colored pink, I need a light color that's going to help make this color stand out. So that's why I chose the snow and the white, right? So now that we have this, y'all, working with glitter is so interesting. That's why I keep alcohol with me and paper towels with me at all times, because I'm constantly cleaning my hands from working with glitter, especially if I'm going to go and work with something for a mail afterwards. Okay, so we are finished with our electrical tape as of now. We are definitely finished with the with our design name and all of that, and y'all can see I tried that name a few times and it was just too small, so you have to just play around with it depending on what you're putting it on. So now, again, I'm using the sponge brush here, Dollar Tree. My design is ready for me to put my first coat of glitter. So this, there we are. Now, a Mod Podge here. So what I do is just go in. Keep in mind there was some dots on my liquid therapy portion of it. I don't want to lose that. And I keep watching that B. For some reason, I don't understand and keep in mind it is a very thin letter. There we are. But I need to make sure that is flat and all the way flat. And for some reason, I've gotten wrong. Okay. All right. So there we are. Now, I'm going to start at the bottom, making sure that my bottom is pointed to where stuff is not going to drip down, and that's important also. So make sure everything is flushed down, all the way down and not somewhat, right? So now I'm going to just go and put, Mod Podge on my glass, and it doesn't matter if it's on your tape or anything like that. That portion really does not matter. Now, we're going to wipe this top part also as of now. Guess what? That's not as much as important as getting this glitter down. Again, this is your see-through color. This is the color that you're going to see that's going to be right next to your letters. You don't want to put something dark if you have dark letters. Like my letters are pink, and as you can see, I am going over them very light for right now because I did not want the dots on the eyes to come up, and I don't want to lift my letters up, right? So as you can see, I am trying to just go over the Mod Podge. And again, this rim here, I wouldn't be overly concerned about that because we're going to clean that up. Let me say it that way. But be mindful of, you don't want a whole big stick of, Mod Podge sitting there either. So be mindful of that. Again, we're going to put a nice generous amount, not too much, not too little, just a nice amount that's going to help us get that first coat of glitter down. And I keep going back, and you know, that's just me. We're trying to wipe that rim off, even though I know I'm going to clean it up later. It's okay. So this is how, you know, we're going to make sure that everything is kind of like a thin coat. You don't want to overpower it, because all of that will definitely be noticeable on the other side, because it's going to be a hard place to dry. It's going to be, one time I did it and it just had a place of like, okay, I can't go back and fix it, because guess what? That was my first layer. That's what people are going to see right next to her name. I think I did it in a red and yellow. Yellow was my color that was just having a hard time. I don't know if it was a different kind of, I don't know what the issue was at the time. So again, there I am wiping that off as if I have to. I do not. So now my Podge is down, and I just wasted some of this, so let's just keep it in here. My Podge is down, and I always put wax paper down. That's just me. So now I'm just going to put this white down. This is my base. And y'all, I have not used this glitter in I don't know how long. I don't even know. I just found it. I was like, uh-oh. I couldn't find my other one, so I'm hoping that nothing is going to be in it that's going to be not supposed to be in it. But hey, guess what? It's coming together. I love it, love it, love it. So this is what we're looking like, and I'm going to show you how it's looking as of now. I always try to tap that off. And I love it, y'all. See, as of now, and it's still drying, but there we are with, you know, having her name standing out. Camilla's Liquid Therapy. It's standing out, and we can see that, you know, it's drying. We're going to go over this again. So we're going to let it dry completely. It must dry completely before we go to the next step, because if some of it comes up, it's going to be visible. Again, this is our visible glitter. This is our visible take. This is what people will definitely see through the glass. So here we are. We've already put the Mod Podge down. We put our logo down first, then we put the Mod Podge. Remember, logo must be done in mirror image. We put the Mod Podge down, then we put the glitter on top of that. We are waiting on our glitter to dry, and hopefully it won't give us any streaks or anything like that, because if it does, that will not be good. So I need to watch this area, you know, up here, and make sure that it is completely dry. But either way, it's going to be beautiful. It's made with love, and I say that often, y'all. Once we make it with love, it's going to be received in love, and it is a gift from my daughter-in-law. And again, I like to clean. Y'all, I have issues, so when I see this right here, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get that now, even though I'm going to work with it again. So I'm going to sit here and let this dry. In the meantime, I'm going to take this glitter here, because guess what? I have to go over it again. As soon as it dries, I'm going to have to go over it again. So in the meantime, I'm going to start cleaning up. That's just me. I work with or let me rephrase that. I try to work with a very clean workspace, but sometimes with working with glitter, that is not always the case. And I have no idea what I have gotten in my glitter here, but I'm going to try my best to get that out. Yeah, so sometimes working with glitter it transfers very easy. Let me see, easily, very, very easily. Let me say that. So we have to be very careful. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it back inside my bag, and y'all see how easy I just got that right back out. Just to put back in. I love it. Easy cleanup, all of the above. I'm going to put it back in my little bag here. There we are. And I'm going to sit and wait on this to dry. And I'm going to come back, because I want it to be completely dry in between my first coat and my second coat. So I'm going to pause for one moment and get all of this together, and I will be back. I'm super excited, y'all.